I'm sorry. Yeah, hey guys, welcome to the video. Don't mind what I was doing there. It has nothing to do with my sudden rise in popularity with my, my humble number of, 12 subscribers. I mean, who could even dream of having 12 subscribers? It's pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. I mean, that's 3 groups of 4, that's 6 groups of 2, and that's 12, count them, 12 groups of 1. And if you want to get into decimals, the groups just get higher and higher. So 12 subscribers, it's a pretty incredible thing. It can go out of your head pretty quick, but we won't talk about that anymore. Alright, so today was my second day of college, and as a lot of you might know, college on the first day and the second day can be extremely different, and it was for me too. For starters, you don't have these same classes that you have on like Mondays and Tuesdays. They're different. And then, you've just got different homework, different wake-up times, etc. It's all pretty convoluted. So today, I had Latin, which you already know as my horribly silent class. And then I had my government class, comparative governments, comparative politics. And then I had my honors seminar, a 1 credit, so that's the lowest you can go in college, course that's supposed to just be like all honor students are meant to take it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I want to be an honor student, I want to get the designation, etc. So I'm going to take this. And yeah. So, the day starts out pretty normally. Wake up at 7, get up, do some stretches. Who am I kidding? I don't stretch. Wake up, watch some YouTube videos, and look at my schedule for the day. And I look at it and I'm like, wow, yesterday classes didn't start until 10. And today, classes don't start until 11. What the heck am I going to do with my life now? So I wake up, my RA sends out a message to everyone that essentially says, hey guys, you should go check out the workouts. And me not being a dryland person, I'm like, yeah, you can just keep that to yourself. I'm not gonna go anywhere near that ever. So then I just, I go back to my YouTube videos and I'm sitting and I'm watching, and this little guilt monster or something just starts creeping up me, and I'm like, hey, I don't know, I feel something weird, I don't feel so good, and then it just keeps on creeping, and I look at the time, for like this core and stretching class, and for some reason, I can't stop checking the time as it correlates to that, and the guilt monster just keeps climbing up, and the weight just keeps coming down, and I'm like, okay, I swear I felt like I was gonna fall through the floor if I didn't do this. And again, there's no reason for me to feel guilt. The only reason is that my RA sent out a blast to all 70 of us, saying that we should go check out the classes, something that I'm sure she wouldn't have checked on. But for some reason it stuck with me. So yeah, I went over there like the brave little soul that I am, and I worked my way into that class which, by the way, no one knew where it was. I asked the front desk. They're like, I don't know. It's a new building. You figure it out. We've only been working here 2 days. We know as much as you do. And so after, going around the building and looking around, and I get to the class and I look in and it's completely empty. There's like no one in there. And it's this huge class, and I'm just like, yeah, this I'm glad I got up for this. I'm glad I marched all the way over for this. This is good. Yeah. And so I start walking out, and I'm like, all right, I tried it, that's good. And then this instructor starts walking up, and I know she's an instructor because she has instructor written on her shirt. And she starts walking up, and she says, hey, are you here for the core and like stretching class? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, oh, follow me. And she's like so energetic. And so I'm like, I can't say no now. I don't know why. I just didn't deny it. I don't know. And so I follow her in there, and like 4 other people show up. But like I start introducing myself to some of the other people, and like trying to get everyone to like talk, because I hate awkward silences as much as I'm a part of them. And we start talking, and then all of a sudden the instructor's like, hey, are you in like this physics class? And I'm like, yes. Bear in mind, my physics classroom, absolutely enormous. I have no idea, apart from the like one question I asked during class, how she knew who I was. And that one question, like, how would she even have seen me, like, in this humongous class? It didn't seem like it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm in the class. And she's like, starts beaming, and she's like, oh, I was really thankful for that question you asked today. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so that means you'll go easy on me, right? And then she just turns with like the most stern look on her face, and she's like, no, I don't go easy on my students. And I'm just like, okay, okay. And so then we go through the class, and if you know me or have ever seen me do stuff, I am not a flexible person at all. And it was such agony, this entire class. Keep in mind also that there are difficulty levels for these classes, and this was the lowest difficulty level. And I was dying. I swear, I didn't know if I was going to make it through the class. I was this close to just walking out of there and giving up. But yeah, it was an experience. And then after that, I had my Latin course, and as you all might remember, my Latin course quiet as hell. And so I go into my Latin, and I'm like, okay, another day of silence and awkwardness, and yeah. But to my surprise, someone actually like tries to start a conversation. They don't do a very good job, but they try. They're like, oh, what's your major? And then the person like, quietly replies like, it's physics. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. And you can see that they're visibly trying to actually get these people to talk, which is, I think, a very admirable thing. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go help this person. I'm gonna talk to them. And I'm like, okay, so cats or dogs, which is your favorite? And she's like, oh, well, I have to go with dogs because I own a dog at home. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's simple enough. But I'm going to throw another one in for you. Birds. And I swear, she gives me this look like I am the most insane person that has ever lived. She's like, birds? Yeah, it's still dogs. And I'm just over here like, I'm a bird person. I'll just be quiet in my corner now. I'm sorry. And meanwhile, like, someone else pipes up like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified of birds. And I'm just like, now half the class hates me because they think I'm a crazy bird person, which is true, but I don't know, I wasn't sure if I wanted them to know that quickly, now that I think about it. Other than that, we were doing like pronunciation in Latin, which is like, it's not super hard, but it's definitely weird. You get these sounds that don't make any sense with the letters that you're using to make them, and it's a bit bizarre, but it was fine. I got through the day. I only messed up like 5 times, and it was rough. And then I'm like, okay, great. My next class is comparative politics. And this class, prefacing this, I have been looking at this class since I first enrolled into it with like a sense of absolute dread. Like, if you read the syllabus, it is the most militant thing I have ever read. It was like almost threatening the way that it was worded. It was like, if you are not interested in international politics, this is not the course for you. Make sure you have this, that, and this. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you're engaged. Make sure you're like this and that and the other thing. And I'm just like reading this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to take notes on the syllabus, let alone the class. And I'm ready to walk in there and see like this big old male professor, and I'm ready to go in there and have him be like, some guy with like glasses who talks really fast and really passionately but doesn't like take any questions because they're just so engaged in like what they're teaching. And I walk over to the classroom, which took like 30 minutes, by the way, because it's on the complete other side of campus. But I get to the classroom and I see a guy, and it's exactly as I imagined it. It's a tall guy with glasses, like a really stern expression. Some people are coming to ask him questions like before they leave, and he's giving like very curt answers. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm in for the long haul. And so, I take my bag and I set it down, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die in this class. And I sit there and I just kind of start like getting all my pens ready to take notes. I'm like all ready to just dive into this, to just deal with what I'm gonna have. And then the professor, that stern guy, walks out of the room, and in after him follows this female professor who is wearing tie-dye shirt and like pants that are like all like flowy and stuff. She's got like this gray hair, like in a like crazy haircut, and she looks at the class and she's like, oh, you guys need to get up here. You all need to come up here right now. This is a 150 person class and we're in a 1,000 person classroom. And everyone's just like looking at each other and they're like, where'd the other guy go? It's like, where's our professor? And she's got this like German accent that I can't do, but like she just you constantly hear it, and she's got all of these like weird endings she'll put onto her sentences. I'm sure I'll be able to get it down the more classes I have with her, but she was like so determined to get participation. It was absolutely insane. Whenever she asked a question, she would like look around, like she would actually do with her hand. She would be like, okay. Oh, no one's gonna answer my question. Like, how about you guys in the back? I can barely see you with like binoculars, was an actual line that she said. And then she starts going through her class stuff and talking about it, and she comes up to this one question, this like end all be all question that we're going to be able to answer at the end of this class. And she says it, and I barely understand what it means. And she's like, okay, does anyone want to give a shot at answering this question? And the room is just like all like looking at each other like, oh gosh, I don't want to be the one that she asked to answer this question. And lo and behold, as we're all like looking around, from where we least expect it, in the very back row, up against the wall, this one dude raises his hand and he's like, I don't know what answer you want, but I'll give it an educated guess. And she's like, what's your name? And he's like, Robbie. And he goes into this explanation that seems very well thought out and seems to make sense. And then he finishes saying it, and then she's like, yeah, well, that's wrong, but I appreciate you giving it a try. And, you know, you can just see the, like, life drain out of him, like, the confidence of just drain. And then she's like, okay, now you, Robbie, you need to come all the way up here now. And she starts, like, you know, motioning him up. And so he comes down, like, a little bit to, like, the middle. And he's like, oh, it's okay. I'll just be here. And she's like, no. Come up. And she just keeps doing this, I swear, for, like, 2 minutes. She's just like, come on. And we're just all watching this, like... It looks like a person trying to beckon over a cat that doesn't want to be beckoned. And eventually she does it enough that he ends up sitting in the front row all alone. And everyone just is looking at this poor guy. And it's like, you got to have respect for the guy because he was brave enough to try to answer the end-all be-all question on day one. But it was pretty funny. She was a pretty interesting professor. And then after that, I had to walk, like, all the way back to the other side of campus for my seminar. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, the seminar is supposed to be, like, this easy, like, 1 credit class that just, you know, you write it off, everyone has to do it, it'll be fine, right? And I go into this seminar, and the teacher, you know, starts talking about herself and starts talking about the syllabus. And then she mentions the fact that we are going to have 4 outside activities. And I'm just over here like, activities? And she's like, yeah, activities. And I'm like, I think that's homework. But I of course, I didn't say I think that's homework, but I'm just like, yeah, I think activities is a cute way of getting away with giving us a lot of homework. And so she starts being like, all right, you guys are gonna go ahead and get into groups of 4, make sure the 4 of you have a schedule that works out, and then you're gonna all do these activities. The first 2 are due in 2 weeks, and then the next 2 are due in like 5 weeks. And it's just, we all get together, and I'm like, okay, so... what's everyone's schedule? I'm free on, like, Mondays and Fridays. And everyone's like, well, I'm free on Wednesdays, or I'm free on Thursdays, or I'm free on Tuesdays. And you can see where this is going. Like, no one's schedule matched up, except for the people that did. And in my little section of the room that I was in, the groups are supposed to be 3 or 4. And 4 people, you know, managed to have their schedules like line up enough, and they're, you know, all talking and happy, and then I look at the remaining people in my group, which, no offense to them, I don't know them too well yet, but they were all like some of the most disinterested looking, least energetic people that I've ever seen. And it was like 4:30 on a Tuesday night, but oh my gosh, they just looked like they did not want to be there. And I'm just here like, okay, well, I don't really have a choice. Everyone else has a group. We have schedules that more or less match. I guess this is my group. And so I'm like, okay, guys, so which activity do you want to do first? And they're all like, couldn't care less. And I'm just like, you know, a little help would be nice, you know, to just, you know, get the ball rolling. And one of the things is we have to visit this poetry center that's only open certain hours. And the only time that, like, all of us can meet up is in the hours that the poetry center is closed, because of course it is. And so we just keep talking, and then it's like, oh, it looks like we're not gonna be able to meet this week. Oh well. And long story short, I think we're already behind on the easy class that my schedule, whereas I'm completely ahead or on track for all the other classes. So life is weird sometimes, you know? Other than that, it's been a pretty typical day. I've got some homework to do, got some stuff to do. I will say that what I'm going to be doing in terms of these videos, I've kind of decided now, is I'm going to be trying to do some sort of thing each day. And it won't always be like long form like this one. That's probably going to be more of a like weekly thing so that I can just, get the best stories and just use those. But throughout the week, I'll probably either tell like stories from my past that are fun. I might go through some of these like cool chat logs that I have. I have some like really cool Oreos that I found at the store that I might try on camera because why not? I can. So yeah. Oh, and dorm tour. I will publish the tour of my dorm with all its lack of editing. I will be working on trying to get that by like Thursday. So that's your schedule. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know how your day was down in the comments below. I will respond as long as I can, which will probably be forever because I doubt this thing will ever explode. More than it already has because, as I mentioned, 12 subscribers. That's 6 groups of 2, guys. 6 groups of 2. But in all seriousness, comment, like, subscribe, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I do want you to comment. Tell me how your day went. I'm legitimately interested. And thanks for sticking it out through the entire video.